Hello again. I've been thinking a bit more about training plan for Paris Brest Paris. I don't know if you saw my previous video that I did about the preparation for PBP and how I might approach it. But here I've got this spreadsheet that I've put together. Sometimes like to use a spreadsheet tool to get everything in one place. I really like Training Peaks, but Training Peaks isn't that good at seeing the big picture mixed up with the details. So I'll go through and explain the spreadsheet, and if you want a copy to modify for yourself to make it specific to your training, then I'll put a link so that you can download it in the description. Even if you're not interested in PBP, you might find the spreadsheet useful, and particularly if you're thinking of doing an ODAX or Brevet series, you know, a 200, 300, 400 and 600 kilometre event during the year, then you could stretch it out a little bit. Because for PBP you have to do all your qualifying events by the end of June, it's a fairly concentrated plan. But if you just wanted to do the series, then you could just stretch it out a bit, and you could use a spreadsheet to do that and then just fill it in. And if you use Training Peaks as a diary tool, you could put in all the detail with your target powers or target heart rates or zones in there, and that might work perfectly for you. Although I'm actually planning to write some training plans for PBP specifically, and if you download the spreadsheet, I'll send you details of when those are available. If you have a look at the spreadsheet, then you can see it's sort of a bit of a base period up towards Christmas, and then I've included the Strava 500, which I think is quite a nice way of kick-starting the training year. And then I've set the first 200 event for March, because the weather's probably getting a bit better. And also, if you think about it, you know, it gives you a bit of time to train. It's sometimes harder to do longer rides in the winter months. And also, if you're planning to do a 600 by the end of June, you should really be able to do a 200 in March without a lot of recovery after it, and then a 300 quite soon afterwards. I mean, I don't really see the 200 and the 300 as being the problem in the qualifying. It's really the 400 and the 600, and you've got to sort of fit them in to make them work for you, and they're the things you're really training for. So that's why the actual qualifying events are a bit squashed up, partly because of the weather that you might experience if you're training in the Northern Hemisphere, and also because, you know, the 200 300 just form stepping stones into the 400 and the 600. And the weekends that I've set for the qualifying events are just nominal dates within the windows of opportunity sent by the organising committee. So for your event, obviously you'll have to find what's available for you and what's convenient, and then you just juggle it about. But the framework's there for you. So it's a fairly simple framework. You've probably seen it before. Rest on Mondays, an endurance, sort of shortish endurance ride on a Tuesday, a high intensity training session on a Wednesday, an endurance, a slightly longer endurance ride, whatever you've got time for, on Thursday, rest Friday, a sort of a endurance or tempo ride on Saturday, and then your longer endurance ride on Sunday. And you can swap these things around if you want. If you find that you recover quite quickly, you might want to do your interval session on Tuesday, and that might give you an opportunity to do something a bit harder on a Thursday. But it really depends how quickly you recover, and I certainly would encourage you not to push the intensity too hard, because that's really what knocks you out. It's better to make sure you stay within yourself, be consistent, and that's the way to get fit, rather than trying to do something super hard, falling apart, and then you could then have to have some time off, and that would knock you back totally. So be consistent, be systematic, and you'll get there. You can see that I've set the details for what interval sessions I might do. It's fairly progressive in gradually building up the intensity and the volume. But you don't have to ride long every weekend, you know, it's basically about giving yourself a sort of biggish hit and then recovering from it, rather than trying to have everything in the middle ground. So you sort of hard easy is the real principle to go with. And you can see I've put a long ride in November, if you've started training then, and that's sort of a way to push things up, and then do your Strava 500, and then I've got 2 back-to-back rides in the middle of February, and then a longer ride at the end of February. Keep an eye on the weather. You know, they don't have to be on these exact weekends. Go with how you're feeling, go with a good weekend. There's no point making it hard for yourself, and adjust things around that basis. And also with your qualifying events, find qualifying events that you know you can do, that give yourself the best chance. You don't don't find the toughest qualifying events you can find. If you're relying on something to qualify for your main goal of the season, then make it something that you know you can achieve and make it a stepping stone towards the bigger event. And then of course once you've done all the qualifying, you have a bit of a break and then you move on to specific training for PBP, and I'll talk about that in future videos. Obviously those details will be in the training plans that we provide. So I hope that's useful. If you want the spreadsheet, then click on the link in the description, and if you want to arrange a chat, then get in touch and we can talk about your training and maybe what we could do to help you with a successful performance. We've already got 3 people doing PBP in our training group, so that's quite nice. Our workshops work quite well. People can learn from each other and learn from us. Anyway, if you're interested, get in touch. If you like these videos, like, subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.